It never leaves you.
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 Well, Academy Manager Bryan Bull joins us. Brian, firstly, thanks for your time.
You're very welcome.
I know off-season is far busier than perhaps people make it out to be, but it's the end of another long season, an eventful one, Brian. How do you reflect on it from an academy perspective?
I think the biggest thing the academy get judged upon publicly is obviously the players that end up playing in the first team, which has been a relatively successful year for us, I like to think. But the actual breadth of work we do within the academy, with 120 registered players and everything that goes with that, from sort of all the way up from 8-year-old up to 18-year-old, it's a huge range of work that gets done, and it's really only the tip of the iceberg, the ones that appear in the first team. So sometimes it's quite a difficult question to answer, because we know below the tip of the iceberg there's a lot of really good work going on. If it doesn't manifest itself in first team appearances, it can look, to all intents and purposes, that the academy isn't terribly successful. But we've, as I say, been really fortunate with the young men that have broken through this season and had some opportunities. I think it's 76 appearances from academy developed players, which by any stretch of the imagination is a success.
Is it always a proud moment when you do sit outside, home or away? Is it like a proud dad moment when you see one of your academy graduates kind of on the pitch and strutting their stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a nervy one as well. And typically, if they're goalkeepers or defenders, it's a bit nervier than they are if they're forwards, where obviously if they score a goal or do something that creates an opportunity for someone, that's really positive. But for a defender, if it ends up going wrong and they concede a goal that's down to them, then that can be a challenge for the young man to deal with. But yeah, a really proud moment. Although I have to say, once they played once or twice, you sort of then really looking at the next one that comes along and the next one after that. So,
well, let's talk about those, shall we? Because there's a quartet that have been offered professional contracts. Harry Bridle, Harry Waldock, Ben Clark and Logan Dobbs are the four, correct me if I'm wrong. Just talk us through them individually in terms of position and how they progress through the academy.
Okay, well, we'll start with Logan.
Yep.
Logan's a centre-back. Been with us a couple of seasons now. Came to us having not been successful in getting an apprenticeship at Ipswich Town, so he's come away from home and he's lived in digs for the last couple of years. Last few months he's been out on loan at Burgess Hill and played very well there. Went to watch him a couple of times. They won the playoffs. He was given the Man of the Match award in the final against Sittingbourne. 6'2", very thick set, very strong physically. Like all young 18-year-olds, he's got a little bit to do, but you'd probably looking at him in a similar kind of pathway to Sam Gale, who's obviously just come through. Moving on to Harry Waldock, central midfield player, great energy, good size, great legs, can get around the pitch, scores the odd goal. We'd like to see him score a few more, but really good potential. He spent a couple of months out at Ashford United. Yeah. Again, watched him 2 or 3 times there. Very, very effective at step 4, and really pleased with his journey over the last couple of years. He's been with us since he was 11, 12 years old, so it's a longer journey than Logan's, but really like what I see from Harry. Moving on to Harry Bridle, he's another one who lives in Diggs, South Coast boy from down near Brighton. Came to us part of the way through his first year of his apprenticeship, scored lots of goals in his first year, and then picked up quite a nasty injury early in his second year, which kept him out for the majority of the season, needed an operation. So last year was his 3rd year of apprenticeship, if you like. Spent quite a chunk of time out, a couple of loans, firstly at Herne Bay and at Sheppey, but then went to Whitehawk at Step 3, Isthmian Premier League, and scored 10 goals in 7 games for them. Not so prolific after that spell, but quite an old-fashioned kind of fox in the box kind of forward, and has a knack of being in the right place at the right time. So Harry's been with us a couple of years, so he's in Diggs, lives in the same Diggs as Logan, so they're quite a good foil for each other. And then finally moving on to Ben Clark. Ben's a central midfield player, Has been a little bit unfortunate with injuries, and we're just giving him some more time really to try and establish himself and show us really what we believe he has technically. Spent a chunk of time at West Ham, came to us as an under 15, and technically, as you would imagine, is very proficient, and just needs to have a little bit of good fortune with injuries and just prove that he's worthy of a longer period of time with the club.
You mentioned earlier in the interview how many players are in the academy programme, so inevitably when we're talking about 4 that we've offered deals to, on the other side you have to let players know that their future perhaps lies elsewhere. You've been here a long time. I appreciate those conversations don't get any easier over time, but how difficult is that to sit down with a player and say, I'm really sorry, but not this time?
Yeah, I mean, it always is difficult, and you're right, it doesn't get any easier over time, and obviously you feel for the player, you feel for their support systems, whether that families, friends, whatever it might be, and it's a really tough period of time for them. It doesn't get any easier. What I think has got better, not just at Gillingham, but across the industry and the profession as a whole, is the aftercare packages that we have in place, where we can try and place young players at different clubs. We make sure we stay in regular contact with them. We can, depending on their age, we can get them away on trial dates. They have provisions put together by the Premier League and the EFL, where they can go and apply themselves, and there are various things as they get older, like jobs fairs. So the industry is very much better than it was. It isn't just a question of, well, we don't want you anymore, see you later. Does that make the process any easier if you're on the end of it? Absolutely not. The only thing I would say is that everybody signs up for it, including staff, including myself. That there's going to be tough conversations, and so do the players. And I always just let a couple of under-18s go who've been with us 10 years. They're really tough conversations, but you're trying to put it in some kind of context. That during that 10 years, they probably had 7 or 8 really nice decisions that have gone their way, and unfortunately this one's just gone the wrong side for them. But you still try and keep that relationship, and you genuinely want them to succeed, even if it's not here.
Obviously, it's the off-season now, Brian. I mean, does your calendar in the academy almost mirror the first team, or is there still training behind the scenes or education? Just talk us through how the off-season works from the academy.
Yeah, I mean, at the top end of the programme, it's similar. So our under-18s finished the same day as the first team. Their last fixture was the same day as the first team. So they're going through something similar. Their season does start next season a week later, but our second-year apprentices will come back at the same day as the first team players. Our first-year apprentices, because some of them are still doing exams, they're going to be in 2 or 3 days later. And then typical pre-season, half a dozen games into their league season. And their under 16s and 15s mirror that, so they're on a break at the moment. Below that, we tend to follow a slightly different pattern. So our 9s to 13s are still in training at the moment. They'll be in for sort of another few days, and then they'll break for a period of time, and then they'll come back after about 4 weeks break for 4 or 5 weeks, and then they'll break again in line with school holidays, because obviously they're still at school. So and their actual games programme doesn't start till the first week in September.
Cool. And your hopes for next season, Brian? I appreciate you've gone over kind of, I suppose, how you define a success as an academy, but do you have any almost boxes to tick for every single season, or do you have to take it as it comes?
I mean, ultimately we're judged on getting players onto the pitch and playing in the first team, and professional contracts that enable that. So I think upmost in your mind is getting those players across the a professional contract line, but hopefully, like Harry Webster, as an apprentice, Harry Waldock as an apprentice, getting some minutes in first team fixtures. But beyond that, all our players are important to us, and we want them to enjoy their journey. And obviously that's different for an 8-9-year-old than it is for a 15, 16, 18-year-old. So, we want players to progress. That will mean different things for different people. And we want them to enjoy their football. So that's a bit of a global one, when ultimately you're judged on professional club appearances. But I think I really honestly believe we've got as good a set of young players coming through as we've ever had in my time here, particularly at the top end of the programme, which is closer to the sharp end, if you like. I'm really hopeful that we can replicate this year's success and hopefully do even better than that. We've set ourselves a target of 25% of the first team squad being players that have been produced by this football club by the end of the season after next. So we've got a little way to go with that, and the likes of Sangal and Joe may have moved on to pastures new by then, who knows. So we need to replicate those and we need to add some more to it, but I think we're really well geared for it.
And for you personally, a holiday or not quite yet?
Another few days.
Another
few days, and then 2 or 3 weeks, chance to get some sunshine and recuperate. And she'll look forward to coming back. And it's a bit like when your own children go away. You get to a point in time where you start to miss them and you want the players back, but not quite at that stage yet.
Not quite yet. Well, Brian, enjoy your summer, and we'll catch up with you in pre-season. Thank you.
That's lovely. Thanks, Phil.
It never leaves you.
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 It never leaves you.